Deontay Bay, peace and blessings to the collective. Rahu and Ketu in the first seven axes, right? Let's get to it. Rahu and Ketu in the first seven axes. What is the purpose of this axis? What is it saying? What is the seesaw? What is the balance that needs to be achieved, right? So Rahu in the first house can often show obsession, uh overinflation and distortion of perception in relation to the self-image, the will, the personality, the yada yada yada, et cetera, things dealing with all that, right? You feel me? So the person often overinflates and desires to magnify who they are as a being, their first house or whatnot. So that's crazy. That's a crazy message on God. But that's really fucking crazy. I can't start this video over because I'm too deep in, right? I'm a minute in. That's a real like that's a real strong commitment. Like a minute worth of video, I can't just delete that. But that's a crazy message. I would just ask y'all to please forgive that brother because he definitely needs to heal. And right, all that good shit. But getting to it, right? So Rahu in the first house, right, it's an overinflation and magnification of the self-image, the personality, uh, due to the lack of one being grounded enough or situated within the strength of their person, within the strength of their first house, within the strength of their own standing and their will. The person has a lust, has a desire, has a focus, has a passion to achieve or solidify first house, or the benefits, the glory, the truth of a solidified first house, right? And the thing about Rahu's very cunning. Rahu is greedy. Rahu is horny. Rahu is trying to get to something as soon as possible, so it will cut any corner. It will do whatever it has to get there or to make it look like it's there, right? To cast illusion. So this can be a person who often is very extroverted, right? Which is a benefit in a way. Very extroverted, know how to sell themselves. You know what I'm saying? They know how to talk a good game, talk a lot, give a gab. Know how to rub off on people, or might have a salesman type of personality, which will be good and lead people to want to do business with them, or lead people to want to support them in their endeavors and whatnot, right? They can talk a good game. They can sell themselves or whatnot. This could be a person who often gets to lying about their self. Rahu deals with lies. So a person who gets to lying about, their achievements, their image, projecting who they are as a person, for it to be something greater than it actually is. You know what I'm saying? But manipulating the truth of their person or their first house or whatnot, right? Which can bite them in the back, or which can come back to haunt them, once people are able to sniff that out. But I mean, the good side of it, right? Able to sell themselves can be a person who has a lot of zeal, a lot of courage, a degree of forcefulness that's necessary to plunge through, or to go forth in the world. The extroverted, they're not afraid of challenges. You know what I'm saying? So it has its good and it has its bad dealings. Now, why is Rahu so focused or so desirous of this first house attribute or whatnot, right? It's because K2 is in the seventh house, which just shows that over saturation, you feel me? A stagnation, a mindless clinging to the matters of the seventh house, which deals with partnership, relationship, coalition, white flagging, codependency, uh, the mirror of the self. You know what I'm saying? Seeing the self through others. You know what I'm saying? Which they call it open enemies, which is not necessarily open enemies. It's just the people that hold the mirror up to the face and show you who the fuck you are by showing you who they are, right? Uh, yeah, so it's basically too much of a clinging, a blind clinging to this particular house. And K2 in the seventh house can often show that you might attract partners to where shit just does not fucking work out. You know what I'm saying? one of y'all is just like, it's not an equal yoke for whatever reason. You can feel that one partner is just too harsh, or just not at all compromising, or not sensitive to the affairs of my heart, or the relationship is just not balanced out. Too individualistic. It can feel more of a war than it's an actual union or it's an actual partnership, right? Ketu in the seventh, and Ketu in the seventh is like, is showcasing a real dependence on others, a real emotional situational dependence on wanting others to be there, or on wanting to shack up, on wanting to, obtain, marital bliss and things of that nature, whatnot. But due to it being unable to necessarily achieve that, it feels like, well, I have to find that in myself. That's why Rahu goes to the seven. I have to, get comfortable in I have to be hard. I have to, know how to be a ram. I have to, build my own self-image. I have to know how to carve my way. I have to know how to, you know what I'm saying, pave my way. And this is the thing about this particular axis. You don't want too much of the Rahu. You don't want too much of the Ketu, right? You want to unite them, you want to balance them out, you want to bring them to an equilibrium so that you can fulfill the affairs of the first and of the seventh. Rahu and Ketu are like checks and balances, you feel me? You don't completely throw away Rahu, you don't completely throw away Ketu, you don't, you know what I'm saying? You don't just completely detach and give up in pursuit of Rahu. You don't just say, oh, I shouldn't desire, I have to leave this area alone and stop being egotistical and, you don't give up either one. You unite them. You have to balance it out. It's a meticulous act of balancing. There's certain qualities about the K2 that you hold on to. You don't just say fuck partnerships, you know what I'm saying? There's certain qualities of yourself that you have to analyze through others, that you are blind to about yourself, that you have to really, whoever your partner is, or whoever, whatever contractual relationship that you happen to be in, you it's certain qualities about yourself that you will see through others, that you have to be real meditative and steadfast and receptive about paying attention to. Don't just cut the people off or just say fuck it, I'm gonna be solo. Like you like, sometimes it's actually you and you don't even know it, right? And then there's certain qualities about other qualities about Ketu. Like, listen, you shouldn't necessarily cling to this person either. You shouldn't feel like you need this particular nigga or this particular bitch. You shouldn't feel like you have to have them around, or else you're not gonna be able to have love, or you're not gonna be able to have the marital bliss or the whatever that you're looking for. Usually when Ketu is in a bad placement, when it's badly placed, it keeps clinging. It doesn't know how to let go. It doesn't know how to learn the lesson of what K2 was trying to teach it, or what K2 was trying to detach it from, right? It just keeps clinging, and it just keeps suffering through the pain. It's like you sitting in a fucking hot seat and you just getting your ass burnt, but you just like, fuck it, I'm gonna just have to be burnt, right? That's a badly placed K2. You just keep trying to do shit to cover up the pain instead of getting the message like, okay, this ain't it. Let me let this go. All right. And take the lessons from what I from that particular situation shift to, so I won't find myself in that same situation again, right? And with Rahu, I pretty much said what I had to say. I feel like that's enough for this video. All right, Deontay Bay, peace and blessings.